Hamilton's position on Verstappen, joining McLaren, comes into focus. Max Verstappen's possible move to McLaren has become the defining story of Formula One's summer transfer market, raising questions over Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and Red Bull's future. Lewis Hamilton has now weighed in with his own perspective, offering insight into what such a move could mean while reaffirming his long-term commitment to Ferrari. Verstappen-McLaren rumours gather momentum. Speculation over Max Verstappen's future has intensified following another frustrating weekend for Red Bull at the British Grand Prix. The four-time world champion remains under contract until the end of 2028, but his agreement is understood to contain a performance-related exit mechanism. With Verstappen well outside the top two in the Drivers' Championship, the possibility of him becoming available for 2027 can no longer be dismissed. Asked about his future after Silverstone, Verstappen declined to provide any clarity. "It's not fair to say anything about that also right now," he said. That guarded response has done little to quieten suggestions that his representatives are assessing alternatives to Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton, however, acknowledged the growing uncertainty around his former rival. "When a driver like Max starts to question things, it usually means something deeper is going on. Red Bull has been his home, but Formula One changes quickly," Hamilton said. Would McLaren be the right move for Verstappen? From a competitive perspective, McLaren would appear to offer Verstappen several attractions. The Woking-based team has established itself as a regular frontrunner, possesses a stable technical structure, and already has a reigning world champion in Lando Norris. Pairing Norris with Verstappen would create one of the most formidable driver lineups in modern Formula One. Hamilton believes such a partnership would be explosive. If Max joins McLaren and lines up next to Lando, that's probably the strongest pairing on the grid instantly. But it's also one of the hardest environments to manage, he said. It would also produce enormous internal pressure. Both drivers would expect equal status, and McLaren would face the challenge of managing two proven champions capable of fighting for victories and the title. The arrangement could maximize the potential of the car, but it could also recreate the kind of intense teammate rivalry Hamilton experienced during his years alongside Fernando Alonso and Nico Rosberg. "I've been in teams where both drivers want to win every race. It pushes performance, but it can also break a team if it's not handled right," Hamilton added. Norris has indicated that he would not fear such a contest, insisting he believes he can compete against any driver on the grid. Verstappen would therefore be joining a team built around an established champion rather than arriving as the undisputed number one. What would Verstappen's departure mean for Red Bull? Losing Verstappen would represent a defining moment for Red Bull. The Dutchman has been the centre of the team's sporting project for years, and replacing his speed, technical feedback and consistency would be exceptionally difficult. Hamilton acknowledged the scale of such a loss. Max leaving Red Bull would be like removing the foundation of that team. "Everything has been built around him for years," he said. His departure could also accelerate wider personnel changes at Milton Keynes, particularly if Red Bull continue to struggle to provide him with a car capable of challenging for championships. "If he walks away, it's not just about one driver. It changes the whole direction of the team," Hamilton noted. "Leave, nor any verified driver swap involving Red Bull." Nevertheless, should McLaren decide to pursue Verstappen, one of its existing drivers would almost certainly have to make way. Hamilton believes Piastri would be a logical candidate for Red Bull. Oscar is incredibly talented and very calm under pressure. Red Bull would see him as someone they can build around if Max leaves, he said. Piastri would be an attractive option for Red Bull. He is young, experienced at the front, and already a multiple Grand Prix winner. A move to Milton Keynes could give him the opportunity to become the central figure in a rebuilding team rather than continuing to share McLaren with Norris. However, joining Red Bull in its current state would carry significant risk. Going to Red Bull right now would be a gamble for Oscar. The potential is there, but the stability isn't what it used to be, Hamilton added. For now, the proposed Verstappen-Piastri swap remains paddock speculation rather than an established transfer plan. Hamilton's Ferrari future is far clearer. While Verstappen's position remains uncertain, Hamilton has delivered a much clearer message about his own future. Following speculation over his age and possible retirement, the seven-time world champion confirmed that he remains committed to Ferrari and intends to continue racing. still love what I do with all my heart, and I'm going to be here for quite some time, so get used to it, Hamilton said. He also made clear that his contractual position was not in doubt. I'm still in contract. Everything's 100% clear to me. I'm still focused and I'm still motivated. Hamilton also emphasized his belief in Ferrari's long-term project. Ferrari is where I see my future. We're building something special, and I want to be part of that journey until we reach the top, he added. Those comments underline the contrast between the two former title rivals. Hamilton appears determined to complete his long-term project at Maranello, while Verstappen must decide whether Red Bull can still provide the competitive future he demands. Could Verstappen and Norris dominate together? On outright talent, a Verstappen-Norris partnership would immediately become the benchmark lineup in Formula One. Verstappen brings relentless consistency, aggressive racecraft, and championship experience. Norris has developed into a complete driver capable of absorbing pressure and sustaining a title campaign. Together, they could place McLaren in an exceptionally strong position in the Constructors' Championship, yet their rivalry could also cost points if neither accepted a supporting role. Hamilton believes the potential is enormous, but so is the risk. They could dominate the sport if everything clicks, but if things go wrong between them, it could cost them championships, he said. McLaren's policy of allowing its drivers to compete freely would face its greatest test. The team would need precise sporting rules and strong management to prevent an elite partnership from becoming politically destructive. Should Verstappen join McLaren? The answer depends largely on Red Bull's development trajectory. Remaining at Red Bull would preserve Verstappen's established position, familiar working relationships, and influence within the team. Moving to McLaren would provide a potentially stronger competitive platform, but without guaranteed priority over Norris. Hamilton offered a balanced view on the decision. If Max wants a fresh challenge and believes McLaren has the best car for the future, then it makes sense. But he has to be ready for a completely different dynamic, he said. For Verstappen, the decision would not simply concern which car is fastest today. He must judge which organisation offers the clearest path to sustained success throughout the next phase of Formula One's regulations. Sometimes staying is the safer choice, but the biggest rewards often come from taking risks, Hamilton concluded. Hamilton's own career offers proof that leaving a familiar championship-winning environment can eventually deliver extraordinary success, but also that adapting to a new team is rarely straightforward. Until Verstappen makes his intentions clear, the possibility of him joining McLaren will continue to dominate Formula One's transfer market. Hamilton, meanwhile, has removed any comparable doubt over his own direction. His future remains firmly tied to Ferrari.